this really funny conversation. Chris and I had been involved in this email thread with one of the mayor's advisors, and he originally said, hey, we've got a whole bunch of PDFs that we want scanned. And we're like, oh, this is awesome. He wants the budget scanned in machine-readable format. We're already doing that. And he turns around and says, no, it's not the budget. It's actually the city record. This is the publication. It's the city's publication that goes back to the 1800s. It is like the original change log that you would see. You know, like all the bits as they get changed in the city go into the city record. And we had proposed back last year in the People's Guide to Digital New York City, we proposed that the city record should be online in a machine-readable format. And this is standing on the shoulders of Citizens Union, which is the kind of the godfather, the first good government group that grew up in the 1800s. They said actually the city record should be online. We said that, okay, that's cool, but wouldn't it be cooler if we had it in a machine-readable format? And so we advocated for this. We got the city council member Ben Kalos to introduce this piece of legislation into city council. The mayor's office thought that it was a really cool idea, so they jumped on it. And city council passed it a few weeks ago. The mayor's office then says, hey, that's really cool. Why don't we get these civic hackers to put their bits where their bytes are and have them scrape all of these PDFs. So, more or less, we now have an awesome, amazing project that's a partnership with the city, Do It, DCAS, which is the city's Department of City Administration, citywide administration, which is this like omnibus agency. They take care of the cars and the gas stations and the pens and this thing called the city record, which is effectively the city's change log, which is where you go to find out all procurement notices, hiring notices, personnel notices, and all public meetings like that are going on. It's required by law, by the city charter, that all public meetings that are happening by the city at least go into the city record, right? And so, for example, if an environmental, like Department of Environmental Correction or Protections wanted to have a meeting and they didn't want anybody to show up, what would they do? They would put it in the city record and not advertise it anywhere else. So, the city record looks like this. It's a newspaper, because that's exactly what, you know, like in 20th century, in the 19th century, this was the #1 type of good government, open information that you can have. So here is January 12th of 2012. You know, you have essentially a table of contents. We find out who's the mayor of New York, how to subscribe. It's $500 a year for $4 a copy. You can actually go down to the municipal building every single day and pick up your freshly minted city record. It's got the listing of all the public hearings that are going on, the city commission, landmarks preservation. So this PDF, which is actually text selectable, which is kind of nice, needs to be scraped. And this is kind of like now in our hands. We have this opportunity to scrape all these PDFs and to help the city determine what the schema should be for the city record to go online. So between last Thursday and essentially August of last Thursday, 2015, the city record needs to be online in a machine-readable format and primarily stored within the city's data model or the data portal. And they don't know how to necessarily do this, nor do we. We just thought it was a cool idea. And so this is one of our projects that we're now trying to figure out how to take a look at all these different schemas, all these different assets that are in here, and match that up. Almost done. And match this up with schema.org and to start thinking about like how do we build this as a project. How do we inform the city? The city's going to be making an investment in technology around kind of displaying all this information. How do we help and inform them? There's 2 hurdles here. The first one is going to build a scraper to parse all this data. As you can see, it's pretty straightforward. It's just tables and tables and tables and tables and tables and tables. So this is changes in personnel. This is everybody. These are all the Board of Elected poll workers. But then there's also this. This is the city record, but this is actually an image that goes back to 1998. So we have 16 years of records between 1998 to 2008. It's all images from 2008 till now. It's text selectable PDFs. And then there is a program in, I believe, an NYU program that's looking to scrape from the first day that the city record was ever printed all the way into 1998. And that's like a federally funded project that they're trying to get funded for. But effectively, they would have people professionally scanning all these things. So if we ever want to see, if somebody asked in going way over time, somebody asked today, what's the civic value in this? Is this really like the first place that we could start? The answer to that is that this is if we could get this into machine readable format, this is ultimately the greatest type of transparency that you can get in regards to city action, because there's so many laws that point to mandating that the city record, that information be put into the city record. So we think that this is a noble start. We advocated for it, so now we're trying to put our bits where our bikes were. That's a little like fun. So now I get 4 questions. You're confused, Chris, right? No?
I'm good. That's how I usually am.
Okay.